Off The Crossbar. My name is Manny.
My name is Carlos.
I'm Abraham.
A show where we talk about the only sport that matters. Now, let's jump right into it. Today is deadline day in England. Lots of transfers, lots to talk about. Carlos, what you got for us today?
So right now we're going to be talking about who best prepared for the Premier League. We're going to probably start off with the reigning champions, Chelsea.
Okay.
So, how you think they're going to do this season, and who's their best player?
Well, obviously Hazard is their best player, but the way that Chelsea did their business this summer, they're not going to win the league, I can tell you that. They don't have the squad depth when they enter the Champions League and cup games, for one. And another thing, they couldn't recruit the top targets that they wanted, which makes you question, why couldn't the champs of England recruit big names this summer? Why?
Don't know why no team would want to go to them, but I'm against you. I think Chelsea could still win the league because it's still the championship team.
But look at the decisions that they made this summer. Just because they won the league last season, they sold Matic. Matic was a key player, and they just sold him to United.
A key player, but an unhappy player from what I had read. He always, he loved Chelsea, and he would never go against Chelsea, but he just wasn't feeling the Chelsea team.
Either way, they let him go, and I don't think that they got a proper replacement to win the league and to make the performances that he's used to making the performance, because he's tearing it up at United right now, and Chelsea looked like they could really use him in their midfield.
Yeah, they got Bakayoko, but
didn't they buy him injured?
He was injured. He's unprepared. Conte said he was unfit. The only reason he started against Spurs was because they had no option. And squad depth is going to be a big issue for Chelsea this season.
And squad depth, I mean, look, they lost Ox to Liverpool. He could have played right back and I believe central midfield as well. I think he also plays up top. Danny Drinkwater, it is announced that supposedly he was at the training ground before the deadline happened. He could already be signed. They could unveil him as a player later. They could not. Who knows? Either way, I still don't think even with Danny Drinkwater, Chelsea would have the squad depth for it.
Well, I want to take a look at their defense and their signings with Rudiger, David Luiz, and Azpilicueta playing in the back. Cahill coming in, but he's not looking too secure. So I think Chelsea's going to struggle, and I think the main reason they're going to struggle is because of squad depth. I think that's the only reason they'll struggle.
And if they needed another defender, they let Zuma go to loan on Stoke City. Why?
And sold
Zuma already has Premier League experience. Ake has Premier League experience. It makes you question. You can tell Antonio Conte said himself he's not happy about the business that they did. But why? I just want to know why. What made the board do the decisions that they did?
But they also have Christensen.
That's true. Again, but weren't they looking to buy to steal Van Dijk from Liverpool? That's what I'm saying. If they needed another defender, why let two go when you had to?
I feel like the reason they let people go, and from what I've read online, was because they prefer experience over possible possible bright young players, because they have them. Yeah. Chelsea brought up Ake, Chaloba, some great young talents, but they sell them because they prefer experience over young talent.
Well, with the business that they've done, I can't see them winning the league. I can see them barely squeezing into the top four, and by barely I mean I think they'll be in the top four at least, but I don't think they'll be second or first place. Champions League, I would say they'll get out of the group stage, but I can't see them going farther than the quarterfinal round. What do you guys think?
I'm sitting on champions.
Champions of England.
Champions of England.
Even with the decisions that they made, you think so?
Yep. Maybe might fall out of Champions League, but Champions of England for sure.
Okay.
What do you think? I'm calling top three.
Top three?
Top three, because
you're not confident that they'll win.
I'm not confident they'll win the league, but because the way City, Manchester United, and Tottenham got out to a slow start, but I know United and City, I'm sure they're going to be pushing for it. Slow start for City, fast start for United, and I just feel like United and
then again,
City
Chelsea did start this same way last season, but then again, like I said, I don't think their transfer business has been up to par for them to pick it back up the way they did last season. But we'll see. Next team that we'll talk about, who came in second last year.
Next team up is going to be Tottenham. Now this is an interesting team because they had so much potential, so much to do in this transfer.
Young players.
They put the pressure on.
They put the pressure on, and yet they did nothing to put some more players and just overall benefit the team.
It's like their fullback Danny Rose said. They always buy players that, what did he say? You have to Google them to figure out who they are. That's just because of the spirit of the team that Pochettino tries to build. He believes that building a team with young players that are growing up together is going to be the best to his advantage. But he's missing that one or two key star players with experience that are big names that can help him win the league.
I mean, if you look at the money you get just for coming in second place,
they have the money.
They have the money. So why not go out and buy that star player? You got Harry Kane, you got Dele Alli, you got Heung-min Son, which had a great season. Eriksen's
huge.
So you have your top attackers. You can look for
now
more in the midfield.
Now they have Fernando Llorente as well. So now they got 3 strikers: Kane, Jansen, and Llorente. With Llorente has experience.
But will Llorente play?
But then again, another factor for Tottenham this season is the curse of Wembley. Have they won it all these 3 games?
I believe not at Wembley.
No, they haven't won at Wembley. Because I remember when they played Chelsea, that was their chance to shut everybody up. They blew it. When they played Burnley at the last minute, they conceded the equalizer. Yep. Pochettino is very keen to prove everybody wrong that Tottenham can play in Wembley. But if you look at their record, the last 11 games, I think they've won none.
One, I think. No,
they've lost like 7 they've lost like 7 and drew like 2, something like that. Yep. The last 9 or 10 games.
I just don't see it happening for Tottenham this season.
Even last season when they were doing better, I believe, even at the beginning of the season in the Champions League, I don't think they made it out of the group stage, did they? Or did they? Did they make it out of the group stage? No. They didn't make it out of the group stage.
I don't know, but
look that up.
I don't see them going successful in Europe.
No, me neither. I don't even see them going successful the way they're looking in England. I don't think they'll win the league.
No, they're gonna get Europa.
At this point, I don't think they'll be in the top 4, just because of that curse of Wembley that they'll have this season.
That's gonna hit a big toll on them.
They might put the pressure on a couple games, but then again, look what happened against Chelsea already. It's gonna be interesting to see how they perform in their away games, because that might be their best bet in getting points, which is already hard enough going to get points at away games, especially when you're up against the top 6.
And who do you think is going to be the key man for Spurs?
Eriksen, the same as last season. Eriksen, Ali, and Kane.
So do you think Kane's going to knock over 20 again?
Kane's gotten off to a really slow start.
The thing about Kane is Kane always starts. Kane has never scored a Premier League goal in August. That's a fact. He scored a couple Premier League goals in August, but those were in friendlies and not Premier League games. He has never scored a Premier League game in August. Last season he did the same thing. He got off to a slow start, and then in September is when he starts picking up. Now we'll see if he does the same.
I got my money on Ali, and I have him on my fantasy league, and I just feel like he scores every single game. He's a real key. He's not underrated.
He's a great player,
but he's a really good player that most people. I feel like Eriksen overshadows him a bit, as well as Kane, especially last year scoring 20+ goals. But I feel like
even Ali at his age, he's holding a record for the most goals for any young player.
That's my key player for Spurs.
I think I just don't see them winning the league or finishing in the top 4 this season the way they are. But they could prove strong.
All right, what about City?
City, 200 million pounds, I believe, on just their defense and goalkeeper.
All I gotta say is money.
Last season they bought Bravo. They brought who? Otamendi in,
right?
Or was he already there? No, he brought
Stones.
That's
Stones for 50 million
to reinforce their defense. So they had already spent the money to reinforce their defense, and now they just spent 200 million again. They've gone through 2 goalkeepers.
Broke that record.
they break their own records.
I mean, they did get some talent though. They got Benjamin Mendy, who was a great left back, and already he's showing why they paid the money they did and made him the most expensive defender. Kyle Walker, he has great Premier League experience. Pochettino, I remember him saying that he's already seen the best years of Kyle Walker, so that's why he let him go. But he could still perform the way he did for Tottenham at City.
And he will perform.
What do you think about the new goalkeeper? What's his name? Ederson from Benfica.
I haven't seen much of him in the Portuguese league, but just seeing him play, or from what I've seen City play.
I think it was very bold of Guardiola to stick him in the starting number 1 slot right away the way he did, and he didn't go with Bravo.
I would disagree because since last season, he would choose Willy Caballero over Bravo.
That's true, but if you look at Bravo's performances for Chile, he does a lot better than when he plays for City. Plus, he's already has a whole season under his belt now. I think by now he should be ready, especially at his age.
I don't think it was. I'm sure he was ready. I'm just sure. I'm sure he was ready. I just don't. Pochettino just. I mean, Well, who was it?
Guardiola?
Yeah, he just didn't see he didn't see him as a starting number 1.
And it's crazy because when you look at Bravo now, to me it doesn't look like he's the goalkeeper that they bought from Barca.
Yeah.
He's not the same. Could it be that just the English game is too much for him, or just too fast paced for him? Who knows? But either way, I think they should have kept Willy Caballero around. With all their transfers though, Bernardo Silva, they added him to the ranks up top. All their defenders. Pep Guardiola has been switching it up in each of his 3 games with the formation and the players. I think he has the talent there. He's just trying to find the right connection, the right chemistry. Because if you look at the last game, Jesus started over Aguero. Aguero was on the bench against Bournemouth, starting, and that, raised some eyebrows to why.
I mean, really what stands out to me from City is just their attack and how much attacking force they've got.
They have so many options. It's just, is Pep going to be able to put the formula together and make them perform? I think they'll have games where the highlights will be very well and they'll perform great, but I don't know if that's going to continue all season.
I feel like they don't have no choice but to perform great. I feel like they don't have no margin of error whatsoever. I feel like the pressure's on from everybody because everybody's expecting great things from them.
And that might be too much pressure because look at Guardiola last season. He struggled in his first season. Now, supposedly, he has the players that he wants, so he is expected to perform. Let's see if he can cope with that pressure, though. I think I see City finishing either champions or 2nd place, and I'm kind of iffy on it.
I don't see it. I don't see it for City. City's not winning it this year.
In the Champions League, I don't see them winning it. I see them maybe sticking around the quarterfinals, but I don't even see them getting to the semis.
To me, I just feel like City has a team full of players with potential, but no chemistry.
Yeah.
That's what I've always seen City as ever since last year, ever since they took over. I've always seen them having the players that they need, but just the chemistry is not there. I don't know if it's the chemistry between the players and the coach or just the players amongst themselves.
To me, it just seems like they're worried about getting the names on the team.
Yeah.
Just a big name.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. They have names, but they don't have them playing as a team. They just have individual talent.
That's true.
That's not coping well together.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're still undefeated. They won 2 games and drew 1. Bournemouth almost surprised them and drew them last game as well, but they got that last minute winner from Raheem Sterling, and then he got sent off shortly after.
And I kind of want to see Man City not do good because of the money they spent. Like, I kind of don't want them to be up there.
You don't want them to win?
No,
you don't want them to prove that money will buy the championship?
Right, they're kind of like...
But look at the way teams are spending now. Everybody's spending money to win the championship.
Ridiculous money.
Right.
But nonetheless, that's how I feel about City. What next team you got for me?
Liverpool.
Now,
this is a good one.
Now,
this is the dark horse, I feel like.
The only thing that I think Liverpool did not do right in this transfer window was they couldn't get that powerhouse center back that they were wanting, and they wanted Van Dijk from Southampton. Last minute, the deal cut off. So he's staying, and the defense ever since last season has been very questionable, especially with Moreno at left back. During the preseason, supposedly he impressed Jurgen Klopp, and now he gave him a starting spot in the last game, so he's ready to give him another shot. I just think he's too shaky, and I don't think he will last there. I think James Milner will take his spot again at the left back position, or the new guy that they got from Huddersfield, I believe his name is Robertson.
Yep.
The new guy. Other than that, look at their attack. They're doing great. They got Salah, which was a great investment. That man is so fast.
I think the topic to talk about when you're thinking of Liverpool is right now is Coutinho, and what saga that was for him all just to possibly not go.
Supposedly, Barca could still announce him. I think it's unlikely because Liverpool couldn't get a replacement for him. But then again, do they need a replacement?
After that last performance
they've
against
got
Arsenal.
Mane, Salah, and Roberto Firmino.
Yeah.
I mean, they could use more squad depth if they have Coutinho, but I think they got the players to cover it. So it's questionable whether he left or not. But just imagine, you've missed the whole season. You were supposedly out with a back injury. You've already handed in your transfer request. So the fans might already be angry with you. When you're declared unfit by Jurgen Klopp with a back injury, then he goes to Brazil, is declared 100% fit, and plays for the national team.
Yep.
So what does that tell you? It tells he doesn't want to play for Liverpool. So if the deal does not happen, how do you think Jurgen Klopp and Coutinho and the fans will cope with that?
I just see a lot of uncertainty coming from Coutinho and from the team. Uncertainty because he's not sure if he wants to even be there, and the fans they're not sure if he wants to be
It's clear he wanted to go to Barca because he put in a transfer request.
Right, I just feel like it's going to cause issues now and issues to come.
I think they should have just let him go once he put in that transfer request because, it's the same thing as Chelsea had with Costa. You don't want a player that doesn't want to perform for your club.
I agree, but I also agree with what Jurgen Klopp was trying to do in the sense of getting a replacement. Because what they were trying to go after was Thomas Lemar. Now, that's not a bad replacement for Coutinho.
No, not at all.
The man's young and he's got lots of potential, to come do big things. So I think it was smart not to let Coutinho go just because he wants to go. I feel like a player's not bigger than any team. You can't just say, I want to go and just go.
Well, that's true because
you're leaving your team open.
Yeah.
So I feel like, worst case scenario, he has another unhappy season, they let him go. But I think it was smart of them not to hold off now and hopefully get, a Thomas Lemar-esque player because you can never have too much squad depth. And up top,
they just, speaking of deadline day today, they just picked up Chamberlain from Arsenal. That gives them more squad depth. And like I said, with Salah, that was probably their best transfer business that they did.
He's going to be their main man this season.
They've also signed Keita, the African player that plays for the
That's
Red
not going to
Bulls
come until next season, right?
Yes, in the Bundesliga. He's not going to be there for next season. But they broke their transfer record to sign him. So
everybody's doing that.
Everybody's breaking their records. That's national.
They're gonna expect a lot from him, I think, then when he comes next summer. But we'll worry about that next summer.
Who's really interesting for me from Liverpool, and I admire this guy so much because he had one good game, and out of that one good game, he's now in contention for that starting right back position. His name is Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
Yes,
the 18 years old,
the youngster. Last season, Jurgen Klopp showed that he had faith in him because when they played Manchester United, he handed him his debut.
That's his debut, and he had a good game.
He had a good game. He
had some mistakes.
Watching the game, he
did. I believe at that time he was 17 years old, and he did not show it.
Oh yeah.
He was because I think he's 18 now.
And just recently, he scored his debut goal for Liverpool against Hoffenheim. It was a great free kick. It was a great free kick.
Excellent free kick. So I feel like he's somebody to look for, somebody to look forward to because he's young and he's killing it in defense right now.
It's excellent, but Liverpool's defense has been their main weakness ever since last season because they couldn't get the powerhouse. Like you said, they have this new young guy. He's good, but he's young still. So it could work out in their favor where the young players will develop for the future and be a long-term solution, or it could be a problem because they have young defenders right now that Jurgen Klopp trusts. So, nonetheless, though, who do you think are going to be the key players for Liverpool this season?
Key player for Liverpool? Salah.
I agree with him, but again, Mane.
Great transfer.
Mane,
because of what he did last season, he carried them last season.
Oh, massively.
When he left to the African Cup of Nations is when they fell out that whole week. They lost 3 games in a row out of every competition.
And they struggled getting back up.
And that's why I feel like squad depth is also really important, where you can't have too many attacking players because if one's out, pop him right back in. And
this season,
the same quality. You don't lose the quality between Salah and Mane. You know what I'm saying? So they got the attack is solid.
I think those would be the 2 key players as well. And then as far as the Champions League, I think Sevilla will win the group that they're in. I see them making it out of the group, but I don't see them making it farther than the quarterfinals.
They're getting knocked out at 16.
16?
16 knockout.
I don't see them going past the quarterfinals.
I'm hopeful. I don't know where they'll end, but I'm hopeful. I'm low key like rooting for Liverpool just because it's a team that's like never done good, like extremely good in these recent years, and I just want them to come up. I want a new powerhouse to come up.
Many recent years.
Yeah,
I know.
I'll let next year be their
year. Like always.
All right, so up next we got Arsenal.
Arsenal. They just got
Arsenal.
They just got slaughtered by Liverpool. What, 4-0?
Massacre.
They were so many things wrong with that game.
It was a great
What
game.
is Wenger doing? He's playing players out of their position. He's rotating the squad. First off, they broke the record, the transfer record. They bought Lacazette. Supposed to come in to bag goals to win them big games. You bench him versus Liverpool, one of the top 6, and you know they're coming strong. He played Bellerin, who was a right-footed right back at left wide back for that game. Players just didn't look like they knew what position they were in, especially in the midfield. They're still missing that powerhouse midfield that they were supposedly going to get. That control, that main man in midfield that told players what to do. They were supposedly going to get that with Xhaka. He hasn't been performing to what they expected, and he was on the bench as well.
And where was Ozil?
Ozil is nowhere to be found because he doesn't appear in big games.
I didn't notice he wasn't there until I saw the little highlights.
I just think Wenger should have been sacked last summer.
I have something interesting about Arsenal. I feel like the disconnect between the players and the coaches is definitely there. Coach wants to be there, players don't want him to be there, is what it seems like.
Fans don't want
Now, I talked to an Arsenal fan, was it yesterday, and he told me that the reason Wenger is still there is because he wants, or the main reason he's there is because no other coach wants to come in. He told me that Allegri was got offered the job, and he doesn't want to, or the reason he said was he didn't want to leave because he knows how poor the management is at Arsenal, and so Wenger felt bad, so he decided to stay. I mean, I don't know. I
mean, if you really want to change, though, I think it's up to the owner. The owner has to take control of his team. I get it. Arsene Wenger is an Arsenal legend, but change just has to come if you want to progress, because it's the same story over and over with Arsenal.
Well, it's how the owner's name is
number.
Number
4, and the owner's name is Kroenke. That's his name, and he owns several teams, and the way he runs them is just like pure businesses. He doesn't treat them like teams. He doesn't put his heart into the team.
Well,
Can't do that. It's straight business.
You're gonna get the same results.
But now, what do you see the team lacking? Like what
They've got the
what
players.
do they lack?
They've got the players. They've got the quality. If they can get a Happy Sanchez back into the squad, they have the squad to win the league. If Arsene Wenger just plays everybody in their position and just lets the attack do their thing. Look at that. Ozil behind Lacazette. Got Sanchez on the left. On the right, we have Walcott, I believe.
Walcott. Now that Chamberlain's gone, there's no.
They still have a good defensive. They still have a good defensive lineup.
Yep.
They've got Peter Cech in the goal.
Which
their
defense is lacking very hard. They're letting a lot of goals in.
Yeah, that's true.
They were. I heard they were in for a center back.
But I think
they didn't get anybody
just because of the big problem that the whole team has.
Oh yeah,
they're looking happy.
This team reminds me of what Chelsea was when the year Mourinho left, where the players just didn't want to play for the coach, and that's what's coming off from this Arsenal team. They just don't want to play. They don't have the motivation. Their heart's not in the team. And I don't know if it's them to blame or, like you said, the upper management at Arsenal. I feel like there's issues with both, but I feel like change comes from up top.
Yeah.
You're not willing to change up top.
Right now, I haven't seen them out of the top 4. If they might get 4th place like always because they're Arsenal, but I don't see them challenging for the title realistically. They're in the Europa League. That's kind of one thing where they're obligated to win the Europa League. But
to keep your name.
It's not even for sure now that they'll make it up there and win it.
Are you agreeing with him that they gotta win the Europa League?
They have to.
They do, but
See, I'm
Then again,
against
look
it.
at
I don't think they have to.
why?
I think
They have to if they want to get in the Champions League.
Because
I just don't think-
They owe it to the fans to win that trophy.
Yeah. Completely.
I just don't. I feel like the players aren't feeling heard. They're not feeling listened to. Like they don't feel like the club cares for them. And I just feel like they're not going to put in the performances to win it. Maybe they have to. Maybe everybody has that expectation of them, but I don't think they will.
I think Lacazette will be their main man this season, but just Wenger has to play him.
If they can get Sanchez happy, it'll be Sanchez again.
If they can get Sanchez happy,
But
yeah.
he does not look happy at all.
Well, he's not happy, and he's only got 1 year, and he doesn't want to sign.
Yeah.
That just tells you he's not happy.
No, he's always playing with the grass.
next summer, and that'll be interesting. But that's next summer, so.
What do you think is the main man?
I'm calling Lacazette.
Lacazette?
I'm calling Lacazette if he settles in, and it looks like he has settled in, and he just gets the playing time he needs. You know, with having Giroud, he's a great backup. So I'm scared Wenger might get confident again with Giroud and feel like Lacazette is, pick up his slack if Lacazette does start slacking, and I feel like that's where he could go down. But Lacazette definitely main man.
So do you see Lacazette in the top scorers?
Oh, that's a good question.
Top 5.
Top 5? Alright, agreed.
I can't see him winning the Golden Boot because Kane and Lukaku look like they're going to take it again, but I see him in the top 4 or 5.
I could agree with that. Top
Yeah.
4 or 5. Up next, or last but not least, United. Now,
United finished 6th place last season, but I think they did a great business this summer. We talked about Matic coming from Chelsea. You look at the performances, it looks like their player Pogba finally has the freedom to go up top, and it shows because in 3 games he already has 2 goals and 1 assist.
He's getting comfortable.
Yes, he
He's
is.
really
and
adapting
that
to the
is
league.
something that other Premier League teams should be scared of because last season he had to help out with the defense a lot. Now that he has Matic, he is up there scoring goals, assisting, and he has the freedom that he wanted.
That's a lot of weight off his back.
And he has his buddy Lukaku, who already is off to a great start. 3 goals in 3 games.
But Lukaku's a very on and off striker.
That's true, but a couple minutes ago, I don't know if you saw, he just bagged a hat trick with Belgium. He's only 24 years old. He still has room to improve, and he's off to a great start. So say what you want, on and off, but he's already off to a great start.
No, he is.
Last season, he was very close to stealing the Premier League boot from Harry Kane. Other than that, they got Victor Lindelof. He doesn't have much Premier League experience, though. They're sticking with their main center backs from last season. They've got a great goalie, one of the world's best, De Gea. Other than that, key players this season, Pogba and Lukaku and Matic.
Yeah.
So 2 of the 3 signings.
I put Mkhitaryan up there.
Oh,
can't
yeah, I
forget him.
forgot about
Can't forget him.
Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan's been doing great, and I think it's because he already has that half a season that he got last season under his belt. Because last season, Mourinho played him. He made some mistakes. Then he said that he had to be out and alone and train on his own to get accustomed from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. Now he's looking ready. Mourinho says that he expects great things from him this season. So we'll see how that plays out.
I think Manchester United, like you said, did great business. However, I'm not confident that this is going to be the season that they completely revolutionize or do anything big in the Premier League. I feel like they made good signings, but I feel like bringing in Lukaku is not enough when you had Ibra the season pass. You can't complain about having a striker.
Another thing that to think about is Zlatan is returning for the second half of the season. They've already confirmed it.
Right, but and when they had Zlatan, he was scoring, and you had Rashford who also scored, and he wasn't no slouch up a striker.
That's true.
That's true. The thing that they got now with Lukaku, though, that Zlatan didn't have is Lukaku is younger and he has a lot more pace.
Well,
Zlatan tried to get others to play because he couldn't do as much running as Lukaku does.
He wants the ball to him.
He wants the ball to him.
I feel like they have the team. If they don't win it, that's solely just based on them not trying hard enough. I feel like the team's there.
I see them finishing in the top 2. like I said with City, I said City would be champions or second place. I think United would be champions or second place.
Right
I think it'll be between the two Manchesters to battle out for the title. Champions League,
I say
they've got one of the easier groups, you could say.
every year that they are in it, they get the easiest group possible.
You could say the easiest groups, but you can't just pick out those small teams just like that, because those small teams have given trouble to Chelsea before, Basel. They've
Calling Benfica a small
They've
team.
given United trouble before in the past, so you can't really say that. I see them making it around the quarterfinals in the Champions League.
Yeah, depending who they face off. Around
That's
there.
true. Yeah.
So are we saying no English team can make it to the semis?
I say
To the semis,
maybe United. Chelsea.
I think United or City, because of the two to contend for the title. I think United and City have the best chance to make
City's
it to
group:
the semifinals.
Shakhtar, Napoli, Feyenoord.
One of the other things to look for United this season is Jose Mourinho, statistically proven, has always won the league his second season at every club he's been in.
And
So, if history repeats itself,
people said the
that
same
again.
thing with Pep Guardiola and how he was.
Pep Guardiola was only at 2 teams before that, though.
Right, but people had
Powerhouse.
such
Powerhouse,
high
yeah.
expectations for him, and I mean, I would
But
put City up there.
Pep Guardiola didn't have Premier League experience. Mourinho's won the Premier League 3 times
And has
before.
Pep won the Champions League with Porto?
That's true.
That's true.
Who
Pep,
does that?
Pep couldn't win the Champions League with Bayern, which was a powerhouse team.
Yeah, you already have a steroid team like that and you can't win this.
I think for me, United third place,
3rd place.
something like
Third
that.
place in the league?
They're going to top four definitely. But
Yeah,
it's
definitely
it's
going to
just so
Champions League
tight up there where it's like, I mean, you're having a good start now, and what United did last season.
That's true. After these 3 games is when United lost 3 games in a row.
If you start drawing
They won
again.
3 wins.
I'm not
3
seeing
games, and
that,
all
but
the
I'm
draws.
saying there's no room for error for any team looking to be champions.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's gonna be a
that's
really
true.
tight race
It's
this
going
year.
to be a tight race.
It's
All
gonna
the teams
be-
prepared themselves very
It's
well.
going to be a good race.
Alright, so that's gonna wrap up today's video. If you have any opinions or have any comments you want to say on it, just go ahead, drop those in. If you have anything that you want us to talk about, go ahead and let us know at our Twitter page. It's YT Crossbar, and you can even follow us all individually. You know, little tags are here, and we'll just see you guys in the next video.